Let's see what I got. Let's see what I got up my sleeve here. Iron Man 3 starts out with what's his face? Iron Man. No, it starts out at a New Year's party, and this guy, but I only remember his name is Killian because I love that name, and I was in love with Killian Jones from Once Upon a Time for like half my life. And this guy, he has like a cane. Iron Man was there. Tony Stark was there. This was before he like had his like little character development shit going on. All Killian wanted to do was like have a discussion with Tony Stark about some technology that he is like, ooh, about, And then like Stark is like, yeah, meet me up here on this like top of this building or something at this time and we'll have a talk. And Killing's all like, cool, 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 cool. And that's his villain origin story. Because instead of meeting him like he said he would, Tony goes and he fucks some journalist. I think it was a journalist. Actually, no, I don't think it was a journalist. No, she wasn't a journalist. She was like smart. And journalists aren't smart, obviously. They're like super smart. The smartest, I'd say, even. But I can't remember her name. I cannot remember her name. But he fucked her and instead of meeting with that guy. Um And I think that's the whole thing about that. They talk a little bit about some fucking experiment that what's her face is working on, and that comes in. Oh, okay, yeah, now I remember because they that comes in later. To the present, which is like immediately after Avengers, the Avengers movie, where Tony went and shot himself into space with a missile to get rid of it so it'd blow up, and so it was like, whoa, hey Tony, gonna give you PTSD and anxiety now. We're gonna let you have panic attacks in the middle of a restaurant giving an autograph to little kids, which is always a fun thing. And his buddy, War Machine or Rhodey, I love Rhodey, is like, bro, chill, but like respectfully. Um, and also because of like how panicked Tony is now and like his anxiety. His relationship with Pepper is like deteriorating as we speak, but it's not also, but like it is. They always fight. They're not really that healthy for each other. I'm gonna put that out there. That's my own opinion. Tony's built like 5,000 different kinds of Iron Man suits. In reality, I think it was like 40 something. But like he just kept making suits that could like do different things and like be used in different situations and stuff. And he just has a lot of them, and it's kind of pissing Pepper off, who was like, "Bro, just spend some time with me." Because the one thing that he did was that he would like spend all of his time in like the basement in his little lab area. And one time when Pepper came home, he was like, it looked like he was dressed up in a suit, and but in reality, it was literally just a suit, and he was talking through her via like a Discord chat. So that's where she's like, "Bro, you need to like get it together." And they have a nice little conversation about like he actually kind of opens up to her of not being able to sleep and how it's been hard or something like that, and how um building this stuff makes him feel better, even though it kind of doesn't. Which I'll never understand why Pepper was like so against this too. I get like the not spending time and like it was taking over his life. I get that. But this is a coping mechanism of his, and you're kind of just like, you're like, no, you don't need that. There's all that happening. And then on the other side of the world, there's like a bunch of like terrorist attacks happening, and it's this funky little guy called the Mandarin, which cool, I guess. And he's like, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah, bombs. At some point, Happy, which is like Tony's BFF, other BFF, Rhodey is also his BFF, but like Happy got was a part of that bloated up part that I was talking about, and so he got fucking sent into a coma. And Tony was like pissed about this. He's like, bro, hit me up next time. Like you tell the Mandalorian, hit me up. This is my address. This is where I live. I'll be here. And what do you expect to happen other than the fucking Mandarin sending a place to his house and to blow it up? And Pepper was there, and also the bitch that he fucked was there too because she was visiting. Also, there was a giant stuffed bear there too. It was a little weird, and they had an argument about that too. But so there's like Pepper, this one bitch from the beginning of the movie, and then Tony, they're all there, and then lo and behold, his house is gonna blow up because he told the Mandarin where the fuck he lives. And he ain't taking that shit lightly. Tony is like able to escape, but somehow he ends up in like Tennessee or something like that. I don't know. But that's where we meet Harvey. Harvey's a cool little kid. And but no, he was like he ends up in Tennessee somehow. I cannot remember how. And then
What are you
oh,
doing?
I'm explaining the plot of Iron Man 3.
Nice.
Oh yeah, he ends up in Tennessee somehow. I still like have no fucking clue how he goes from New York to Tennessee as he's passing out or something. Like his armor is like bad, so he's like, "Bro, I gotta fix this shit." So he can't get home, and so everyone like thinks he's dead now. And but he is able to send like a little voicemail message to Pepper through the suit, which is kind of cool. But she doesn't see that until like the end of the movie because obviously plot armor. My boy's got to go through his character development and somehow miraculously get over his anxiety. But he in Tennessee, he meets this little guy named Harley, and he's such a sweet little boy, and he helps Tony. Like Tony like shows up in his garage. No, it was like his shed or something, and like sets up to like work there to fix his suit or whatever. Tony's like, "Bro, we're gonna figure out how to stop the Mandarin attacks." One of the like explosions that went off by the Mandarin was in this town that Harley is in, that Tony miraculously landed in. And so they like go and like check it out. It was super like it's kind of a dark scene too because when a bomb goes off, obviously there's like the shadows are left of the people who were standing there, which is weird. This poor little kid had to see it, but it was like a big thing. And Tony has a panic attack there. Tony goes to like some bar and talks with some lady, I think. I don't remember why, or I think he just wanted answers or something. Oh, it was because her son was one of the reasons that place blew up because he was part of the program that Aldrich Killian. Oh, his name was Aldrich, by the way. I just remembered. He set up because they wanted to like be able to regenerate themselves, basically. That was the whole thing. Is that these bitches can regenerate. The people who were part of this program, but it rejected them, like the thingy, the regeneration serum or funkiness, that it like rejected their body, and they basically just blew up. So Tony finds out that one of the guys who did it, he finds his mom or something and goes to talk to her about it, and then um while they're at the bar or whatever that they're talking at, the bitches show up who can also regenerate, who are working for Aldous Killian, but we're getting to that there later. They just like fucking attack him, and they can regenerate because they got the funky little serum. And so like they're like fire resistant and shit like that, and they glow pretty little orange when they want to fucking grow a limb or something. I don't know. That actually happened. Pepper gets kidnapped by Aldrich Killian. Oh, and Happy's like out of a coma at this point now and is like, "Bro, I don't trust this guy." Something like that. And so Pepper's like, "It's fine, we're besties," because they're besties, apparently. That came out of nowhere, by the way. Rhodey's like American now. Iron Patriot, that's what he is. I guess he's just funky with the president. And then eventually Tony like is able to like trace the Mandarin himself to like somewhere. I can't remember where. He's probably posted up in Florida or some shit. And like goes in there and is like pew 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 pew. And then it just ends up that the Mandarin is just some English actor pretending
Nice.
to be a terrorist. Yeah, and so this guy is just pretending he got hired to play a terrorist and didn't realize that he's playing a terrorist who is actively setting bombs. And he's just been chilling until he's like called to stage or whatever. Bro's name is like Trevor or something too. He was in Shang-Chi. And then somehow gets like captures Stark, like Tony or something. They like get him.
Get
I can't
'em.
remember what happens.
Get 'em.
I cannot remember what happens. It's
They
like
get him.
they get him. Then like Tony escapes. Pepper's still like kidnapped or something. And then he like meets up with Rhodey again, and he's like, "Bro, this guy's gonna attack the president." And at some point in all this, there's a really cool airplane scene. It's like one of my favorite scenes in Marvel, where they
You
have
say
to-
that a lot.
I do, but there's a lot of good scenes in Marvel. But they're on a plane, and the plane is like going to crash or whatever, and like the thingy gets ripped open, so all the passengers like get stuck out or whatever, and so they have to rescue everyone. And so what they do is Tony goes and he grabs one person, and he's like, "Yo, grab onto this other guy," and y'all are just going to grab onto each other as you're falling, and so like we can all connect. And then he's able to like prevent them from like dying a horrible death, and then just kind of like dropping them into the water, and like, y'all can swim, right?
It'd be funny if they couldn't. He just killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, so now they have to like go and they have to get the president, who's somehow been kidnapped. The president of the United States, by the way. We get to see Tony fail to use a gun. It's a little funny, and it's some middle of nowhere. Like there's a bunch of like tanks or what, not tanks, but like water tanks or something like that. Like a tank yard. They go and they try to get the president, and they have a big old fight or whatever, and Tony ends up using all 40 of his little suits that he made when he was depressed. The president ends up being saved, and then Tony discovers that Pepper like survived the regeneration thingy that they were doing, which I forgot to mention that they put in her. But like before he can save her or something collapses and she like falls to her death, basically. And so Tony is like, "Oh shit, she's dead." So Tony like not kills, but like fights Killian. Like Tony's like getting his ass kicked or whatever, and turns out Pepper has the regeneration thing, so she survived, and basically hits Killian on the head with a big pipe and fucking gets his ass, and he's dead now.
Sick.
Anyway, Tony destroys every suit that he's made in devotion to Pepper. It ends up being like Pepper is no longer like, they find a way to like make her normal again, so she can't regenerate. And then Tony promised her to scale back his life as like Iron Man, like take it down a step or something. And he like does surgery to remove the thing that was fucking up his whole thing in the first two movies that was causing him to like almost die. So it was like a piece of shrapnel or something. And then he throws it into the ocean. Oh, no, he throws his arc reactor into the ocean. I forget about that, which is a big deal. But he's still Iron Man. He just doesn't need the arc reactor to power it now. Nice.
Do you like our weird fucked up house now?
Yeah, I like it.